All right, so I don't have a dog this time. She's upstairs, just taking a nice little nap. I am a few hours after the Mid Atlantic Card Show, and I gotta say, it was an absolute blast. I'm recording this the evening of February 8th, the night before the Super Bowl, and I have some thoughts written out. It's called my post-show thoughts. If you want to, not screen grab it, but if you want to take a look at what I'm going to talk about, this is what I'm going to talk about. And I don't know if I'm going to go 10 minutes. I might go longer. I don't think it's going to be shorter than 10 minutes. Instead of me just talking about how awesome the show was, and, I'm going to make a vlog. It's just going to take me some time. But I just wanted to get some thoughts out about the show that I thought maybe some of you watching may find useful. Me just talking about how awesome a show isn't really useful unless you actually see the footage. Kind of like a show and tell thing. It's better to show than to tell. But the first thing I want to talk about, and I do have pickups. That's going to be at the end. I'm going to show you what I picked up today. I made some deals, not so much with vendors, maybe with like the trade zone area or like the trade area where, there was like no table equity, like people who buy tables, they have table equity. They can say, hey, I spent money on the table or, travel, lodging, whatever, and this was, for me, it's a local show. For most people, it was a local show. That said, we did have some people fly from Chicago, New York, Boston for the show and in the past. So, there's costs that are associated with making card show vlogs, going to card shows that are not in your driving distance area. But I think for the most part, like, people don't really care, right? It's like when it comes to like, Amazon, they're so cheap because they have really low, I don't know what their margins are and what their overhead is, but, ultimately people don't care that you have overhead. Like, they just want the best price, right? A lot of people are just very price conscious. That's why we will drive several miles or many more minutes away to find the cheapest gas at the cheapest gas station because we just want to get a good deal, and we feel like gas is like a very fungible product that you can get anywhere for. Again, there's no difference whether it's nitrogen infused and all this brand marketing gimmicky stuff. We just want the gas to drive our car, right? That said, gas and cards are very different. Cards are very unique. When you have a card that's in front of you that you really want, it's not a very fungible thing. You can't just be like, well, I'll drive a few more miles down this way, or I'll go find it in another card show, or I'll find it on eBay. Sometimes there's a card that you see that you really want. There's only one buyer, one seller, then, you got to be the right buyer. Having said that, I sold more than I bought at the show, I will say. I'll have to put the card here, but I did sell my 2007, 2008 Topps Chrome LeBron white refractor out of 99, PSA 9. I did end up selling it for $2K. I was into the card for $1,900. The person who was trying to buy it from me tried to cite a $1,600 comp, and I said, look, it's rare, it doesn't show up. If you want to buy that one, you can. I know that, and it was the first person that I saw, and I showed the card to, and I was like, look, I'll shop it around. I don't mind going around, and I don't mind getting other offers. Again, for this person, if he was a LeBron super collector, which he said he was, if he wants that card, you got to kind of make some deals. That said, his buddy ended up buying the card, and I can't wait to show you that vlog. But the art of making a deal and not making a deal. There were definitely deals that I wanted to make that I just couldn't. We were several $100s off. Like, there's this one Sean Taylor downtown gold that out of 10 that I can't get out of my mind. There's some cards that just stick with you and you just really want. I just couldn't get to the price that the seller wanted. But here's the thing about content, and I'm going to actually kind of combine one and two. Everything you see on my YouTube channel, there's no prearranged deals whatsoever. And I'm not going to call out any particular content creators, whether they're on YouTube or on social media, but word gets around very quickly and very easily about some of these content creators, whether it's long form or short form, where they make a deal and it looks like it's like an actual tense negotiation, or it's a back and forth, and, oh, I never met this person before, and like we're just kind of trying to making a deal, and it's like a $10,000 deal. Some of it, I won't say a lot of it, and definitely not all of it, but some of those deals are actually pure pre-arranged and they are fake. And we were actually talking about that today because people were joking with me, oh, so you don't actually do those prearranged deals that other YouTubers do? And I said, no, I don't do that stuff. Like, I didn't even know that was a thing until like more recently anyway. But I think it's some of these people are really good at acting, and acting all surprised or acting like they're really thinking about a deal when all told, like, yes, an actual deal was made, for like, let's say like $5,000 for some ultra modern quarterback, and it looks like they're going back and forth, but the final price was already agreed upon with a handshake beforehand. And so some of the content you see on YouTube is absolutely false. Again, I'm not going to call out anyone in particular, but if I get upset enough, maybe I will. But my card show vlog that I'm gonna make about the Mid Atlantic Card Show, I am going to keep in the content, and I'll have to edit it. I'll have to figure out how to make it into the story, the long arc story of the show. But I'm gonna keep in the parts where I almost made deals, but I couldn't get there, because I think it's important to show the reality of the art of making a deal and not making a deal. Just because you don't make a deal with someone doesn't mean that you pout and you take your ball home. Like, you shake hands, you still offer the respect of someone that they deserve, and hopefully they give it back in return. But not everything you see is like reality in the hobby or outside of the hobby, like, social media, YouTube, and all this stuff. But I want to keep that stuff in, because I do want to show sometimes two very reasonable people with the same number, same set of comps, whether they are too attached to the card or they're not. Sometimes deals just don't happen. So I just wanted to kind of say the art of making a deal and not making a deal. It comes back to like the civility, the cordiality, the respect. I don't want to use the word professionalism, because a lot of the people who are doing this, we're not professionals. We're like either side hustle or having a fun time. And some people do make it into a full-time thing, but still, it's not about us being professional. It's just us kind of like just respecting each other. So there are definitely some people that I didn't make deals with today that I still really appreciate their time. And we tried, and that's what I would tell people, like, hey, look, we tried, we just couldn't get there. The art of making a deal, I will say, I can't wait to show that deal with that LeBron that I'm going to put over, or that I put over here earlier, the 2007 out of 99. I'm into the card for 1900, or I was, because now I'm out of it. But like, I was like, look, I'm not going to do the thing where I say it's 2,500 or 2,200. I was like, 2K is my asking. If you want it, not. It's not a very like liquid. It is a liquid card. It's not a card that transacts very often. And I said, if you don't want it, it's fine. But this guy was trying to, shout out to Daniel. I'll show him in this vlog later. But he was like, I'm gonna flip you for it. I'm gonna do Tiger Woods auto plus money. And his buddy's like, look, you got. Sometimes you just got to show up, and you got to be a big boy, and you got to make the transaction. You got to step up. You got to step up to the plate, because again, I knew that was a card that I knew what was into it for. This low comp didn't matter to me. Sometimes cards that are rare and don't show up often, that stay in people's collections, you pay a premium for. So I appreciate that the deal eventually got made. I don't know if his buddy who bought the card is going to flip it to the guy who wanted it. But sometimes when you have a deal and you have a handshake, almost you have to just once you do a handshake deal, I got to say this is not a man versus woman thing, but men in general, we know this. Like, at the end of the day, no matter how much money, how much wealth, all that stuff you have in the world, at the end of the day, really, sometimes all we really have is our word. And that's why your word has to be good, whether it's in the streets or elsewhere. I don't know why I said streets, but you know what I mean. If you are a middle-aged dude and you have either done business or you have made promises, like, how important it is to keep your word. So thankfully no one today like did a handshake deal and then like backed out. But I gotta say, there are some people who are very close to that line, and it won't be me like exposing them. It'll just be me showing like what happened with me in a card show, and kind of like the not like games. Like, I've done coin flips, but sometimes I will fight for that last $10 or $20. Mainly when I know that I've come up a lot and I'm like, I don't want to come up anymore. But there are some times where I'm like, who cares about the last $10 or $20? So again, some deals, they were very razor thin, or they came really close. And then some, it was just like, we're not going to even get there. So I just want to talk about the art of making a deal, not making a deal. Both sides of the coin, it's the cordiality and the respect. The fake content I talked about. Number 3, I'm already 10 minutes in. Don't be a stranger. So that's what I wrote here. Don't be a stranger. Um, After the show, I posted some content and someone was like, I saw you there. And I'm like, why didn't you just come up and say hi? Like, I'm not going to bite. I'm not a monster. Um, there are some people, and I said this in my backyard video in the past, and I'm not going to talk about backyard breaks other than this one thing about this is if you support them or if you think it wasn't a big deal, yes, please don't come up and try to talk to me, especially trying to like argue or convince me that I'm wrong. Like you can live in your own world, I'll live in my own. Absent that and absent the people who are absolute terrible trolls on the internet, you may disagree with me, you may have not liked my content or whatever it is, but just come say hi. Like you don't have to, but even if you don't tell me later that, oh, you saw me. Let me tell you one story. There have been, and this is like way less when I had like no YouTube presence. I had very little Instagram, or not a little, but like less than 10K, which I'm currently at right now. Um, I got this from several people, whether it was at the national or at like a local card show, where people will take a picture or video of me making a deal or walking around at a show, and they'll be like, "I saw you." Like what? Like what do you mean? Like that's creepy, you know? It really is if you think about it. Like I don't know if they're trying to be or not, but I'm like, "Hey, thanks. Come say hi next time." We don't have to cut content. You don't have to be my YouTube stuff, but you can just say hi. So that remains weird to me still, that people still do that to me, and I think people will still do that even after with me saying this because they may not see this content. But I just want to say, if you see me and you want to say hi, just say hi. Like I'm not going to. I like never hi hat people. There are people I know in the hobby who are content creators who hi hat people all the time. I will say I'm only one person, and there's sometimes when I have to like be somewhere, like I had an interview with Santana Moss. I'm like, I gotta go. I'm sorry, but I never hi hat anyone. There are definitely some content creators and influencers who do that. I'm not gonna name their names. Maybe in a future video. Maybe I will. And there were people who have disrespected me because they didn't know. They were like, "Who is this like small Instagrammer who doesn't know anything?" And he has like crappy cards. So I remember those people in my head. I won't say their names, but I remember them. I remember you. Don't be a stranger. Number 4, DMV show scene is lit. I am telling you, I am so lucky to be in the Mid-Atlantic, the DC metro area, where we have literally a show, at least one show, it seems like every single weekend out of the year. Most of them are Saturdays, some of them are Sundays, but I am so fortunate to live in an area, whether it is in Northern Virginia, Fredericksburg, Annandale, Fairfax, Herndon, Arlington, the list goes on. And then you got Southern Maryland, none so much in the DC proper, but Southern Maryland, Northern Virginia, and then some ones that you could drive maybe 3, 4, 5 hours to. It is absolutely amazing. By the way, if you live 3, 4, 5 hours outside of the Washington D.C. capital, that is not DMV. Okay, that is not the DMV, and you know who you are when I say that. But it's awesome. I love this scene, and I love being like an ambassador for some of the shows in this area. I love uplifting my community. And I don't like that word sometimes because I think people use that in terms of like, these are my community of buyers and it's all money related. But I'm telling you, this area has some of the best card show scenes and hobbyists and collectors. And I love this area. I absolutely love it. And so if you are in the DMV, shout yourself out in the comments. And I realize a lot more kids watch my content than I thought when I met a lot of people today. But I also don't want to make content for kids. Like, this is me talking to like my fellow dudes, middle-aged dudes in the hobby. Like, I want to make content that I want to watch. Okay, so anyway, thank you so much for the DMV show scene, for showing me so much love, and I reciprocate that and show that love back to all of you as well. Number 5, let's do pickups and recaps. And then, yes, I am going to talk about kids in the hobby a little bit because, all right. So, first thing is, I gotta get this back. Someone, I don't know. I picked this up, but if you're watching this, I'm gonna have to post this on Instagram too. Uh, I need to get this back to you. I picked this up. I don't know who this name is. I probably shouldn't have even shown the name. But here's the thing: these are not my cards. Okay. If you can tell me what's in the middle of these cards, we can identify who you are. But please, if you are seeing this and you left behind a Keon Coleman Premier Jerseys rookie patch, let's talk, okay? Because I want to get this back to you. That is not mine. I don't even know how it got into my case. I do have 10 Monopoly Caitlin Clark base cards that I bought for $5 each from a father-daughter combo. And they're like, we like to go Caitlin Clark chasing, but we chase too many, and these are all base. So I bought these up for $50, $5 each. I don't know if I'm gonna grade them, but I don't know. I just wanted to. I kind of didn't want to do it because I'm trying to get away from base, but I wanted to kind of support them. And they, again, you'll see them in the card show vlog. But the dad is the dad who posted about mistakenly buying a Topps Mercury Wemby box, and they opened it and they got like a Shaq Wemby out of 5 dual auto, which is like insane. Shout out to Josh who watches the channel and my podcast, but he gifted me this Grant Hill EX 2000 and I'm sorry, I was going to say 2007. It's a 97 EX 2000. That's what I meant to say. But that's so beautiful. You know what's so great about this card is he pack pulled this as a kid, and he's like, I know you collect 90s basketball cards, Denny, so I want to give this to you. So thank you, Josh. Can I also say he waited while I had like 2-3 other deals going on and waiting for that, waiting for other people to kind of finish before he came to me. He didn't interrupt them. He wanted to like just wait his turn. And that's what I'm going to talk about with kids in the hobby. But I really thank you, Josh, because you were being very, very patient. My 2 pickups, because I did end up selling probably 5 cards. I'm going to have to look through the card show vlog. But I picked up a 2023-24 Select FIFA Lionel Messi. This is a Pop 3. It's a PSA 10 Pop 3. And I felt like, you know what, I had to try to go for this card. So it's a beautiful card. It's a Pop 3. Raw did 350. A little bit more before that. But again, I don't know the Messi market very well. But he is a GOAT, and I love his highlights, and so I picked this up today from the same buyer or same seller. I picked up a Ja Morant Tiger mainly because I feel like Ja is undervalued right now. I mean, it's not like the Grizzlies are world beaters and like he's playing like amazing and he's like an MVP candidate, but it is a Tiger Prism and it's a PSA 10. And I don't know what the pop is on this, but those are my 2 pickups plus the 10 Caitlin, so 12 cards, but really like these 2 cards. So I'm really glad to pick these up. There are other cards I really wanted to buy. I just again didn't come. It came down to almost buying a Kyler Murray XRC tie-dye out of 25 auto. It was in a BGS 9.5. I almost bought that. It just didn't work out. And what was I talking about? The Sean Taylor Downtown. I don't think I would have been able to go for the amount the seller wanted, and it was a Grail card for him. So I'm glad that I didn't try to force or make a deal. So speaking of forcing, kids in the hobby. That's my bonus, and let's try to end this in 20 minutes or close to it. I know that this hobby can be for kids. I know I recently made a video saying the hobby is not for kids. I think when it comes to the breaking, the cursing, the lewd behavior, the crass stuff, I think that is not kid-friendly. I think that when it comes to the thousands of dollars and tens of thousands of dollars of cards and these super expensive cards, I don't think those are for kids. So I totally understand if kids are going to have the smaller cards. But I think some kids are much more socially aware to know when to push and when not to and to withdraw. So some kids just what I don't like is when kids interrupt adults talking and trying to make a deal. I think that can be worked on for sure. Some of these kids, I feel like they do need parents with them because they kind of go in there and they think that they can do whatever they want, but it kind of does disrupt the transactional part of the card show. I want to welcome kids in, and some of them may be watching this, but some kids do have to learn to kind of hang back a little bit, like some of the adults. Just wait your turn to talk, not interrupt, not get in the middle of a deal. I know some kids were like messing around with their friends as they were trying to make a deal, and it's like, there's like several $100s worth of stuff here, and several thousands of dollars of stuff. You can't be like messing with your buddy to try to get attention just because you want to mess with him when he's like trying to focus and concentrate. So again, we don't have to be professionals about this. We don't have to be like, oh, we're all like little, little people, like a boss baby, like with a suit and all that. But there is some level of like, there's some modicum of like, again, I'm trying not to use the word professionalism, but like civility, or I don't know. Now I'm just saying all these words. I'm very tired. I know that for sure. But again, just to recap, the kids, the hobby is for the kids too. But when it comes to making deals, please be respectful. Please wait your turn. Please don't mess with your friends. Please don't push. I know there are definitely some kids I was like, hey, that looks really nice. I'm sorry, I'm just not into that card, or I don't think I could come up to that valuation, because some of the kids know their values really well, and some of them just don't. And if someone says no, like, you can't just. I know some kids just aren't used to people saying no to them, right? Whether they come from families where the parents just say yes all the time, but some kids I think just have to, and adults. Let me just say straight up. Some adults also have to understand when to accept no as the answer. But this past show, I just felt a little bit kind of like, when you try to be nice to kids, sometimes they just kind of like think, oh, well, I'm just going to like take advantage of that niceness. And you just can't really do that. Same thing with the adults. And again, like, there are some people that I love card shows. I love meeting a lot of you. You guys are so awesome in the DMV. But I also know that there are definitely, and it's a very small group, but there are definitely some people I will never make a deal with. I will never cut content with. I will never like associate with. And those people kind of maybe know who they are. But again, I'm not going to air out all that laundry right now. I just wanted to kind of make this video, give my post-show thoughts. The promoter, Ryan, and his family, again, just like last time, fantastic. Can't wait to make my show vlog. I hope that people enjoy watching it. Again, it's not all about making these prearranged fake deals for the content. Like, and again, there's a time that sometimes where I want to do coin flips and sometimes I don't. And, I think people just have to kind of like respect that. If you have a deal in place and you have to, and you handshake on it, your word is your honor, absolutely. And handshake deals to me are just as good as written signed agreements. Like, again, when you're a man, you are only as good as your word. So I just wanted to say that. Those are all my thoughts for now. I think tomorrow I'm going to try to post this up tonight so that it's up, because I want to give my immediate reactions. I'll make a fun thumbnail and title. Tomorrow, Super Bowl day, I'm going to try to make a Super Bowl video. I'm not really known for football, so it's going to be kind of funny and silly. But what I want to try and do is come up with my pick for the Super Bowl, maybe some like player prop bets. Not that I like do a lot of gambling, but I just think it's funny. Like, it's the only time I'll actually look at player prop bets. And, I figured I would share that on YouTube. So thank you so much for watching. If I saw you at the show, again, shout yourself down in the comments. Can't wait to put you in the show vlog. And I got to buy some more stickers, but it was so much fun. Take care, y'all.